Didn't even turn on my microphone. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Snooze babes, how's it going? How are you freaking doing today? Blah, 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 blah. A quick channel update, guys. So this will be the last video I'll be putting out for a couple weeks. I'm going in for jaw surgery on Monday, so tomorrow when this video goes out, and I will have my jaw wired shut. I won't be able to talk, and I'll be in a lot of pain and swollen. So I'm sorry that I will not be able to post videos for a little bit while, but I will, as soon as I can be heard and understood while my mouth is wired shut, I promise I will get right back onto the videos. I'll have a lot of downtime, so I might even just be streaming a little bit. Once again, you won't understand me, but you can watch me play and be in pain. So hopefully that's something you want to be into. So in case you missed it in the intro, we're going to be talking about rental teams today, and are they good? Are they bad? Should you use them? Should you not use them? We're going to be going over some pros and cons of rental teams. I feel like the rental team discussion has been going on for a while. It's as long as I can remember the rental teams being introduced, there's been kind of some controversy surrounding them and different opinions in the community. And I kind of want to look into what's good about them and what's bad about them, and ultimately, should you be using them to help you be a better player. So for your pros, we'll start out with point number 1 is that it's easy access. Building a competitive Pokemon team in game, even with all the quality of life changes, is actually still quite time consuming. You still got to breed the 6 IVs. You still have to train them up to level 100 if you don't want the 6 IVs and just bottle cap them. You still have to get all the moves and the egg moves and the vitamins and all. Like, it can still take quite some time to get a team of 6 competitive Pokemon. And then you take it onto the ladder and the team fails miserably and you've wasted 4 or 5 hours of your life building a team that doesn't even work. So having these rental codes that are early access, that are just really easy for you to use and just to go on the ladder and see if you like them, is a huge pro for rental teams. The second point is that they're hopefully, I say hopefully, from a reliable source, because the rental teams that you're getting from your favorite content creator aren't always built by them. A lot of the time they're submissions from viewers that want their team to be featured on the channel. Now that's not saying that that's a bad thing, because if it's featured on the channel, then that should say that the creator of your content creator sees this team as something that could be successful in one way or another. So it has redeeming qualities, but that doesn't mean that it's a good team. But hopefully, if your content creator is putting this out there as a rental code for you, that they're trying not to lead you astray with terrible teams and are trying to give you the best teams possible for the metagame at the time, is what they are hopefully wanting to do. Point number 3 is you can see the team in action, so you can see it being played. This will give you an idea of how to best run the team. A lot of the time back in the day when you'd get a Poke Paste, it was just, here's the team, it's really cool and I like it. And then you'd have to spend the next day or two figuring out what league combinations are good and what aren't, which could really make you lose a lot of your rating on the ladders. So seeing your content creator play this team, talk through their thought process, gives you an advantage of going in, that you can already see what kind of league combinations they have and what it struggles against. It also gives you ideas about what you can use on your own team. So rental codes are really good at showing you different team compositions so that you can use them on your team and really have this idea of what kind of other people are running right now, and maybe something works really good for your team. So maybe you saw Cybertron using a team with Nihilego, Tornadus, and Urshifu, and you think that that core's really strong and it would help cover some weaknesses that I have right now on my team that I'm building. So I'm going to throw them on there and I'm going to give that a try and see how that works. It's really great, and that's one of the best things about rental codes, is that it gives you ideas of what you can use. Now on to some cons of rental codes. Now, some cons of rental codes are, point number 1 is people will know your team. If you're getting your rental code from somebody who, especially WolfGlick, Cybertron, Osiris Studios, if you're getting a code from them, then chances are that people are going to know what your team is, which will give them a huge advantage in team preview and going forward, because they'll know the sets, the items, and combinations that you can use for that team. So I would say don't expect to have an advantage when using a rental code, especially in a ranked competitive environment, because if it's from a large content creator or somebody that is fairly well known, most of the time people will know your team. The second point of your cons list is that the team might actually just be really bad. It might actually just be a really bad team. I think a lot of the time people give too much credit to the team when it is semi-successful or wins a couple games on your episode of Road to Ranked, and they assume that because your content creator won, it must be a good team. But I don't think people understand that the pilot of the team, the player, the trainer, is ultimately what decides, you know, if the team is going to be successful or not. You could give me a really, really good team, and if I'm not a very good player, I will get destroyed by somebody with an average or underutilized team. Mostly just because of the player mindset, the player ability, and being able to know what their most optimal plays are. So the team that you're getting from this rental code, even though it won a game or two, might not actually be that good. And if you are a beginner player, it might even discourage you from playing Pokemon at all, because you'll go on ladder and just get destroyed every single game. So be cautious when using rental codes, especially if it's just from somebody that submitted a code to the channel. This is the last point of the cons. Now, I know there was only 3 cons to several pros, but this I think is probably the biggest con to rental codes, and that it could potentially hinder your growth as a player. Now, what I say by that is people aren't using rental codes how I think they were designed to be used. Rental codes are there to give you a quick access to a team, give you ideas, and give you some practice with Pokemon in the metagame, to then take those ideas and use them to build your own team. So it's to help get you in, to get your foot in the door, to understand a little bit about what's going on, and then to proceed to build your own stuff off of the knowledge that you learned from that team composition. People aren't doing that. They are just taking the rental codes straight out and throwing it on ladder and never experimenting with any other ideas that they could use to build more teams. This will lead to sloppier team building if you ever do try to build your own team. It'll also lead to sloppier plays, because if you're not using a team that you built, or if you're trying to build a team that you want to use, it's not going to function how you think it will. You'll always end up going back to this rental code that's already pre-built and already told you how to play it, and it will make it so that when you come across things that are a little bit different, you won't have any idea how to play against them. It could help, it'll hinder that potentially, that your plays and your most optimal move sets going forward into a metagame, because as the metagame develops, that rental code that you had will become obsolete. It'll become underutilized and it won't function as well. And because you don't know how to build and how to improve upon a team, you'll just have to wait for the next rental code to come out, and hopefully it's a good one. So if you're a new Pokemon player, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use rental codes. They're probably the best thing for a beginner to use. But what I'm saying is that if you're a beginner, it's how you use the rental code. You shouldn't just take the rental code at face value and say, this is a good team because they said so, and take it onto the ladder and play it. You should look at each member of the team, the sets, the attacks, the items, and look at, like, why is this here? What does this Pokemon do? And how are they working together? And you can take those team compositions, those ideas, and put them into your own teams. And that will help you be a better team builder. And more often than not, the better you get at team building, the better you become as a player. Because team building is where it all starts. That's where you make your mistakes for metagame calls. That's where you make your mistakes in lead combinations and synergies and type combinations. So once you get to team building down better, you become a better player just because you have more to work with. So overall, I would say rental codes are good. I wouldn't say they're bad, but what I would say is bad is how people are using them. Content creators will put out a new rental code sometimes every video. So you only maybe get 1 or 2 videos with that team, and then they move on. So you should take one that you think you really like, and then you should look at that, break it down, analyze it, and use that to improve your own team building and your own combinations as you move forward as a player. So I think if we use rental codes that way more, you'll improve way faster. You can improve by just playing the team, but once you start analyzing it and breaking it down and truly looking at how you can be a better team builder, that's how rental codes will be used, and that's how you will be one of the better players in your area, or even you can even become one of the better in the world. Learning from other players is important, and learning from those teams is important. So use those rental codes, but use them right. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I know I kind of rambled on quite a little bit, but I really think that if we use rental codes in a more efficient way, instead of just here's a cool team, it might even just suck, but go on the ladder, have fun. There's a video, have a good one. We'll see you later. And use them as more of a learning tool to help improve your own team building, to step out of your comfort zone, to build that crappy Galarian Slowbro team and realize that, oh, this probably isn't, that's not gonna work. Check. Like, it's the mistakes that we make along the way that's gonna help us become better players. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that I rambled on a little bit, but I think this is a topic that's worth discussing, especially with newer players and people that want to improve at VGC, that if we start using rental codes in a way to improve upon our own team building, our own skill sets, that you'll become a better player much quicker. Team building is a huge part of Pokemon, and I know there are a lot of players out there that use teams that are built for them and do very well and win tons of tournaments. That's great. And if that's you, that's fine. You don't have to change that just because I said so in a video. But what I do honestly believe is that if you really want to try to take it to the next level, that being a good team builder and understanding Pokemon and team synergy is gonna get you there. And rental codes are the best and easiest way to do that. I often will download a rental code just to break it down and analyze it, to try to see what I can improve on my own teams, or maybe if there's a combination that I can use for my weaknesses. So anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. We'll check you in the next one later.